plus homeless citizens in Hickory, North Carolina, 40% of them are women. I say it's in the fire in my eyes, and the flash of my teeth, the swing in my waist, the joy in my feet. I'm a woman, phenomenally woman. That's me. What does it mean to be a woman? It means to be strong. It means to be nurturing. And it means to be divinely complex. It means to be at risk in a callous world where every soul that you encounter is in an autopilot survival mode by no fault of their own. I say it's in the reach of my arms, the span of my hips, the stride of my step, the curl of my lips. The ineffable experience of having your own privilege shoved in your face. It's in the arch of my back, the sun in my smile, the second thought now before I lay my head down again. The purity in the silence, the calculatedly comfortable air, a blanket draped around my feet. I have never felt such grace in a closed window and a bruiseless body. The click of my heels, the bend of my hair, the palm of my hand, the need for my care. A sweaty body, pressing your innocence into the dirt. You never saw this coming, and you never asked for it. I'm a woman, phenomenally. No door to lock, no choice to have. A night in a hotel, or a night of frozen fear. How can you justify it tonight? How can you not? Phenomenal woman, that's me. The will to survive bubbling in your stomach is all but snuffed out. You know that feeling well. What makes you any different? I'm a woman, phenomenally. Sweet faces, bearing their wet eyes at you, mommy, ghosting past their chapped lips. What choice did you ever have? And what was better, the ever-present threat of rape or a heavy foot at your eye? Never let the hand you hold you down, still ringing in your ears. Phenomenally woman, that's me. 91% of homeless women have been subjected to abuse. 56% have been raped. Men themselves have wondered what they see in me. They try so much, but they can't touch my inner mystery. When I try to show them, they say they still can't see. Looking into the worn-out face of a woman with cracks in the corners of her eyes that run straight into her heart, I know that she has nowhere to run. She has no door to deadbolt, nothing but her fist and a scream that no one is listening to. But how can I ever ignore this again? Who will be there to wipe away the wetness in her eyes, to allow them in the first place? To tell her that she doesn't have to rely on the alcoholic boyfriend as her only protection for another night, that she's worth more. Who will give sanctuary to a woman whose life has vanished before her? She's punished for the man who took her children and her home, for the long days at work, walking in the bitter freeze back to your 90-day comfort. Her hope and will is kneaded out of her with every mile crossed. What makes her any different? Now you understand just why my head's not bowed. I don't shout or jump about or have to talk real loud. When you see me passing, it ought to make you proud. I'm a woman, phenomenally woman. That's me. Sir, can you help me? twice, 'cause it's another day for you and me in paradise. She's got blisters on the soles of her feet. She can't walk, but she's trying. Can tell by the lines on her face. You can see that she's been there. Probably been moved on from every place. 'Cause she didn't fit in there. Oh, think twice. 'Cause it's another day for you and me in paradise. Oh, think twice. 'Cause it's another day for you and me in paradise. Paradise, oh, paradise. Just think about it.
While I was at the Grace House, I had the good fortune to meet a new friend named LP. And LP is a very intelligent man who's been a lot of places, and he's very religious. And this is a monologue I wrote in honor of him. I faced my hardships. I've had my trials. My life has been one up and down roller coaster, and all I can do is just hold on. I spent 3 years of my life homeless, helpless and hopeless. But throughout, I could always depend on God. See, one day I was reading the book of Job, and I realized something. How do you spell Job? J-O-B. And how do you spell job? J-O-B. So I made my way back to Hickory Springs, and sure enough, I got my old job back. See, God works in mysterious ways. He doesn't just help you on your time. God helps you on His time. See, I treat everyone the best I can because you never know when you're entertaining an angel. And the last thing that I want is for Jesus to take a cold shower.
Underground alternative audio track selected in honor of homeless street performers and starting artists. Track now loading.
had shattered the mere reflection of what society's image is of a mother. Single. Wearing a worn-out shirt, worn down light denim jeans that set loosely on her waist, socks to follow, and broken-in shoes that have been broken into since the day her feet felt like they were breaking. Her worn-out white sneakers were lightly covered in mud from all the ground she had covered, just trying to get somewhere to cover her babies at night. On the days that the shoes had seen all different types of ground from all the roads it had been down, had also seen days where her 5+ life-heavy children were just as tired as she was getting where they were going, because not only when they had to carry themselves, they had to throw their life, emotions, problems, and belongings into a plastic grocery bag over their shoulder and carry it too. One of the problems that would lie in that bag would be a lesson taught by the 16-year-old boy who was already teaching himself to be the man of the family, instead of the brother that can say yes to the question of being able to take some cookies on the road with them as asked by the 6-year-old little sister. But he, like most of them, stood as a humble soul, stumbling drunk off of the fatigue that life had brought him. Lessons would be the least he had gotten from this, for he had already grown knowing how the other half lives. Sometimes we just have to do what is needed, no matter what the pain it brings. That is why every time the mother said thank you, her facial emotion brought a different expression to the picture. I'm sorry. I never wanted to have to do this.
This past weekend, I found out that hope has a face. And that face had dirt caked in the cracks of its wrinkles, signifying that the eyes engulfed by crow's feet had witnessed a thing or two. Hope has a name. It's Gary. He's a 39-year-old man with such a beautiful mind resting low on his shoulders because looking down has become a habit. And that mind is just waiting to explore its options that will never be given the opportunity, all because tonight Gary will be sleeping in a tent. And as the temperature keeps decreasing, the frost bites at his face, but what gnaws at my heart is even the little bit that Gary has could be taken from him in an instant. Gary told me stories of policemen slashing tents and burning belongings that belonged to the homeless because they didn't belong on the property. Gary told me, you can buy property. You can buy a house and put it on that property. You can buy a tent, put it in the backyard of that house, and put it on your property, but you can't sleep in it. It's illegal. So where do you suggest Gary go? Gary told me it's always a necessity to have a backup plan. But my biggest regret was not asking Gary, do you have a backup plan? You know, I want so desperately to know where are all the adults that tried so hard to instill the lesson of sharing into their children, because to me, it's hypocritical if it's the same adults that glance at the ground and clutch their handbags as they pass someone like Gary. Gary told me the truth, and all I want to tell Gary is that he is so admirable. Because although he describes himself as stuck, he's still surviving, like the weed growing through the cracks that has been stomped on and pulled out, but keeps growing because that's where it's meant to be. Gary told me his story, but he gave me